What would make you uncomfortable with your husband going on a trip?
If Mike would go away and I wouldn't get a text at the end of the night or something at the end of the night, I'd be like a little anxious.
Right.
I don't think that's like crazy, right?
And I'm sure you'd be anxious for a number of things. Like, is he okay?
More about him cheating. Hello and welcome back to the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. And if anyone is watching on YouTube, you can see that we are matchy-matchy.
Yes.
We are wearing our Is That My Wife hat. How great. Is that my wife?
Is that my wife?
Yeah, you have to say it that way. You're right.
Is that my wife hat? No. Is that my wife? Yes.
Hat.
Like you just discovered your wife passed out in
dead
your
on the floor.
hallway. Yes, you have to say it like that.
You asked for it. We brought it. This is I'm a hat guy.
You are.
It looks great on you.
Thank you.
It is a clean hat. I love the color. I love it. It's not like, what I like merch that doesn't look like merch.
Okay.
Like this doesn't say You Up on it. It's just, this is an inside joke just for us. Betches on the back.
Oh, Betches on the back.
Which is great. Yeah. It's a clean look. I love the hat.
Know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. And also, this is the last week that they're on sale. This is a drop.
If you don't get it by now, they've been on sale for about a month. This is the last week. You're out of luck.
But if you're out of luck, and if you wanted to see them on someone, we're wearing them on YouTube. You can go check us out and judge them and see what they look like. And I'll say this, conversation starter.
Oh, yeah.
I get comments on my hats all the time. People are reading hats.
Do you think people are going to think I'm gay?
Maybe. Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Maybe they. Well, yeah. Is that my wife? I'd be like, what does that mean? I would think it's maybe bachelorette stuff.
I could see that.
If I'm to approach a woman, that's the comment.
You are gonna. Okay.
Is that my wife? What's that? What's going on? Oh, I listen to this
Where's
podcast.
Your wife?
There's a dead woman story on a podcast. That's like...
Then you can find out if they have a similar sensibility as you.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story. Oh, I listen to this podcast where it's hard to tell. Here's the episode.
And best of all, you could spot another You Up listener in the wild.
Right.
I know what that's from.
Oh my God.
Love that.
Yes, the inside joke, the connective tissue of the audience and our show and the You Up universe. So go to, where do they go?
Is it Shop Betches?
Shop.betches.com. Get your Is That My Wife hat. I'm happy to have it because let me just give a preview of an episode coming up. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood.
Yes. Why are you happy? Give a little preview.
Here's a preview, a little teaser of an episode we have coming up. I got my apartment organized. This is Plug City. We are in Plug City because go on YouTube. You can go take a tour of my apartment if you haven't watched it already. You can see how I live.
You've seen my apartment. You've seen the before.
Right, that's the before. Jordana and I are having an organizer on the show.
Yes.
And I was like, Jordana brought this up, and I'm like, Jordana just wants a free...
She's out for those tickets again, but in other ways, it's so her.
Cheapskate or Jordana is at it again. She's like, this organizer, I think we should have her on the show. And I go, how does that relate to dating? I am sold. Because Summer...
Now you have to see it
Rose
to feel it.
Is the organizer to the stars, organizer to the You Up podcast.
Yes.
She's going to come
Star Organizers is her company.
What's it called?
Star Organizers.
I am telling you right now, my life is better. She came to my apartment last night and organized my place. We're going to talk about it with her.
Yeah, we'll get into all the details.
How it can improve your dating life, which I believe in.
You get it right. You have to do it to get it, right?
It is, and it's like... And I said to her, she was over for hours.
That's the
anxious part. I have to be.
It feels daunting.
It's a little daunting,
right?
I said to her, I was like, is this? Do people think it's expensive? She's like, that's my biggest problem. Mm-hmm. People think I don't deserve it. They don't think who am I to have an organizer come over? And I am telling you, You Up listener, I'm telling you right now. I'm looking into the camera. I'm pointing right the fuck at you. Do this for yourself. This is the best. I feel
like your energy. You are a new man.
I feel like I lost 50 pounds. I swear to God. I felt it. I feel like the weight is lifted off my shoulders. I can see all my clothing. You can, and I will say this. You might be like, we're going to talk about it. I just want to give a brief preview because of how happy I am today. Just from
I can feel it. I can feel the energy.
Right.
Yeah.
I also have
because your physical space really is, I mean, we'll get into it, is sort of a manifestation of your mental space.
Absolutely. I know, and you don't think of it. You don't. We are so not nice to ourselves. We think we don't deserve things. We can't afford things. You can afford it.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. This is the best investment you will ever. I am so lifted by this, and I will say,
I've never heard you talk about anything as
no, I hate everything.
I know. I mean, like, you seem genuinely like.
I texted you 1,000 times. I sent you all the videos. I was sending to my parents, my friends.
What'd your parents think?
They go, this is a gift from God. Like, they're like, thank God someone took care of you.
Well, you were talking in a previous episode about how, like, you can like hire a wife, and it's kind of what you did.
This might keep me single longer or get me in a relationship
immediately.
Immediately,
we'll
right?
See, yeah.
I just think here's the judge of a good sponsor. Do I want to pay for it after I've already had it?
Right.
Like,
would you buy more? Yes.
I would buy this. I'd pay double whatever she charges. That is how this is. I can't give a recommendation bigger than this. So I just want to bring that up because I want to explain my energy. Also, I had a red flag or deal breaker happen in the wild.
Ooh.
I watched one that we did on the show.
No.
Kind of.
Let's see.
So I'm walking to I'm going to my trainer at Forzag. I'm going to pump some iron as I do twice a week. And I'm walking, it's like 8:30 in the morning, 8:40 a.m.
Okay.
I'm behind a guy with his dog. So it's a guy walking his dog. So this is like a human being amongst us. Like, if you have a dog with a leash, I don't think you're just like a vagrant. Like, I think you like...
Unless you're like sometimes homeless people do have dogs next to them, right?
No, this didn't strike me as...
okay, that kind of situation?
Like a guy and his dog traveling the country with a stick and bindle.
A man with responsibilities, as Billy Madison would say.
Yes.
And he's got a dog, he's got a responsibility.
He's got a dog, and he picked up the poop with the bag.
Okay.
And then there's
That's someone who has their shit together.
Right, literally. So then he passes New York City. Sometimes you have a garbage can that's like there, and sometimes you just see a pile of trash that's been dumped on the ground. This is what it's like to live in a city. So there's just a pile of trash on the ground, strewn about. And this guy takes the bag dog do, and he throws it at the pile and keeps on moving.
On the floor,
on the ground.
On the ground.
A pile of garbage that's just strewn about.
Monster.
We had a red flag deal breaker that was like, this person was in the,
The woman like flung it into the woods or something?
The woods, what?
Yeah.
Like that? He did that, but like just on a pile of garbage. And I was like...
Did you say something?
What?
Did you say something?
I was really close.
Did you call the cops like someone in Dr. Naomi's hometown?
I heard this on Oversharing.
Yeah.
She should be more angry than she was. If you go listen to Oversharing.
She should be more triggered.
I thought that was like horrific. She had a conversation with them. They talked it out. You call the cops after that to what? Scare the shit out of her.
And so she's like the least ill-intentioned person you've ever met.
You talked in person. You had it out. I won't do it again. What are you gonna like send a message? You gotta send your like your thugs, the cops.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Anyway,
otherwise, that's from Oversharing, the episode that came out on 2/11. So here's what I'll say. I did audibly gasp. I saw him throw the poop.
You audibly?
I went,
what did it sound like?
Immediately. Okay. And then, Jared, what should I do? And then I went, Jared, do nothing.
You got to keep walking.
I walked, you know what I did? I walked beside him just to see his face and just to do like a look. Like,
did you give like an angry look?
Yeah, no, I gave if you're looking on YouTube, like I gave like an eye, like a really.
Yeah. Did he make eye contact?
He missed it.
Okay.
But red flag or deal breaker, because I kept thinking like, what's his explanation? His explanation is, that's a garbage pile. I threw garbage onto the pile. It's different than the red flag or deal breaker.
It's different than a can.
What's that?
It's different than a can. You can't do that.
I totally agree. Yeah. But let's say you're dating someone, they're walking their dog, and they just throw the garbage on a garbage pile.
How many dates in are we?
You're enough dates in to be in the morning with him on his dog walk.
I would say, what was that?
And he's like, that's a pile of garbage, so I put it with the garbage.
I would say, no, that's like
you don't think they're going to clean that up?
That's a garbage that's fallen over.
Right. But there's not even a can near it. It was just garbage.
Would you dump someone over that?
I think I would think of their mental capabilities at that point.
I would confront them.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be like, you can't just do that. It's
and
not
what if
allowed.
they defended? They're like, that's a pile of garbage. Why would I? What's the difference between my garbage and their garbage? Someone's going to clean the whole thing up. I'm not.
Right,
I'm trying to give. I'm playing devil's advocate, but he to me is the devil.
Okay.
Like that's crazy. Like the city's dirty enough.
Also, here's the other thing. There's a garbage in New York City every block. It's my favorite thing about the city, actually. Actually, my favorite thing about New York that no other cities that I've been to really have. Even Brooklyn didn't have it, and I was annoyed when I lived in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Is there's a garbage pail on every corner. So if you litter, you really are a piece of shit.
Right.
Because there's so many of them. So if this one fell over,
like the woods,
literally all you have to do is walk one more block.
The woods is actually less crazy because maybe you have a bag that's biodegradable. Does that exist? Like they make the straws that are
compost,
biodegradable.
is it putting it outside anyway? I don't know.
So that was
but here
crazy.
there's so many. It's Manhattan.
You're
in Manhattan.
I'm with you. There's nothing worse than searching for a garbage can. It's like actually like
that's what I'm saying. That's why I love walking in the city.
Every block.
There's somewhere where you can throw something out wherever you are. There's no excuse for throwing it on the floor.
I should have talked to him. I should have said, "Hey man, what's that all about?
Are you okay?"
It would have been better for this story.
You should have said that.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Something's wrong. Something is wrong with you.
That's actually would you okay? Would you rather? How would you want to be confronted?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Because then it's like then he could be like, well, no, I'm actually fucked up.
I'm having a really bad day.
Yeah, so I don't want to carry the duty anymore.
Right.
Please just stop talking to me. I made a mistake. Like maybe that's what he says. Here's another scenario. I went on a date. You want to hear a crazy date story?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is why dating is like, it's just like, this is why dating is more interesting than like being married. Like my stories.
There's 7 million reasons dating is more interesting than being married.
Well, it's just so many variables.
Right.
Like it's just like.
That's what I'm saying. That's like the fun of it. Anything could happen.
Right.
And that's the terrible part of it. Anything could happen.
Okay. I have. And more things seem to happen to me because
you go on a lot of dates.
I go on a lot of dates and I also like, So I go to Soho House, go on the date, have drinks.
Oh, this is a story. Okay.
And then we go from drink one to, we kind of got kicked out of a place because they needed to seat other people. So I go, let's get one more drink. So we go to Soho House. We sit, this is 2 stories in one. I want to hear your opinion.
Let's hear it.
We get to the bar, one seat open. She's in the seat. I have a drink. This woman comes over while we're on the date and she goes, are you Jared Freed? I go, yes, I am. And like now I'm like having that moment of like, see, I'm not, I'm a so and so.
What do you say when that person leaves?
Generally? I go, I'll pay her later.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's my joke.
Yeah, I would make the same joke.
You have to.
Yeah,
you have to acknowledge because I can't look too happy that she said you
have to be like a little embarrassed.
And I am.
Yeah,
but that's not to say.
But also not.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're out there, say hi to me on a date. I need the help.
Or if you're with anyone who you care about their opinion.
Right, yeah. Just come up and say hello. And it is the greatest compliment in the world to have someone say hello to you from knowing your stuff.
Nothing feels better.
This podcast is our baby. You know us from our baby, so that's great. And don't make it fucking awkward because then the woman, she goes, are you Jared Fair? I go, yeah. She goes, are you on a date? She said it to me.
Like in that tone?
That's exactly the tone. It is tattooed to my brain. Are you on a date? In the middle of Soho House. Literally the whole place turned. Like, who's on a date? And I go, yeah. Like, she said, are you on a date? As if I was her teacher who she couldn't believe did people things.
Right.
Like, I was like, yeah, I'm on a
or
date.
You had a level of friendship of like, maybe
what
if I saw,
friend would do such a thing? She said it as if you go on dates. She said it like my wife. Like she knew my wife.
She probably thought she was having like a meta experience because she listens to a podcast where you talk about dating and dates, and here you are on a date.
Right? I guess, yeah. But how about when you do that and you lose yourself, you reel it back? Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
She just was like, it was. That's what I was wondering. Like the meta experience is one option. The other option is like, she thinks I'm such a fucking loser. I could never be on a date.
I don't think that's
the self-conscious option.
That's not true. But
the other option is like, is this woman too hot for me? Is that kind of like part of it?
Or vice versa. Who knows? You should have been like, you should have said.
I would have given it to her.
You should have said, no, this is my mother.
And then kissed her. Start making out with her. I was so annoyed at the tone of, is this a date? Are you on a date?
Right. No, she sounds annoying. Okay.
So it gets even worse. We finish up our drinks. I'm like...
She leaves after this. You say yes.
No, she left. Okay. I go, yeah. I literally looked at her.
The three of you finish up your drinks. Okay, yeah.
I took my drink. I threw it in her face. I go, get out of here, bitch. No. We finish up our drinks. We go downstairs, and we're waiting on her Uber. I'm going to walk home. I live near Soho House. Mm-hmm. And we're like outside of Soho House, like off to the left of the door on those cobblestone street. Mm-hmm. It's a meatpacking. There's a woman 6 feet away. She looks like if Samantha had a bad few years. She's like poor man Samantha.
Okay.
She's in these high heels, like, so a little bit older, high heels.
Like stilettos?
Coat, like the highest of heels.
Wow, okay.
All of a sudden, she falls back like an elm tree that was just chopped down. Literally no bend in her knees, just falls backwards and like a big fall. And I'm with this woman, and I literally run over to her. I'm like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Like, I'm a hero. Like,
right?
That.
Would you have done that if you were with the other? She wasn't there?
If I was alone, no, I'd spit on the woman and
then
run
keep
away.
walking.
Yeah.
Right,
That's come on. What am I?
Of course.
I got to put on a show. Yeah. No, I go over her. I'm like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she's like I thought she hit the back of her head, like Dunzo. She's like on the ground. She's laughing. She's like, "Oh my God, these heels. And she has a cigarette in her hand. And she's like,
she's cigarette in her hand.
And I go, let me help you. I go, and I'm like helping her up.
Is she drunk?
Hammered.
Okay.
And her body is like a slinky. Like her body is like dead weight. As I'm helping her up, she won't help me help her out. It was like a toddler who doesn't want to go somewhere.
You're trying to get them to put on her shoes.
She literally like dead body, and I'm like, hey,
this was her knight in shining armor moment.
Well, I'm like helping her up, and she's like not helping me. It got so.
And what's the woman you're on a date with doing?
Standing over there, watching me help this slug of a woman.
She didn't come over to help? Is that my wife?
She kind of like...
How would a fitting story.
She was like kind of watching, and I'm like, but it was taking so long to get her up. Like she wouldn't help me.
Right.
It was hard. Like it was like moving a bag of sand. And she's going, I go, come on. Like it got to the point where I got annoyed. And I'm going, get up. Come on. Enough. Like, come on. Let's get up. Get up. And she's like, oh, laughing. I go, okay. Right. Come on. Yeah, enough already.
I have to go.
I literally... You
should have just dropped her and went back to...
I literally like picked her up and I placed her like a vase that like...
Did you say like, do you need help getting up? Or you just started help?
I said, are you okay? Let me help you up. She took my hand. Like, it was like normal until it wasn't. I'm like, when she took my hand to help her up, and then she's just like falling again. And I'm like, and then I start getting annoyed at this person who I'm trying to help. I'm like, enough.
Then you pushed her down again.
Cut the shit. Right. I wish I did, because then I get her up. I like stand her up on her heels. Like I had to like balance her.
Okay.
And she's like, these heels. I go, why don't you take off the shoes? I go, it'll help you out. She goes, and like as I'm like trying to get her up, she goes, no, these heels. I go, take them off. Like you're getting into a car. Like it's not that crazy. And she goes, no, I'm fine. And she smokes her cigarettes. And I go back to the girl, and she's like getting her Uber. And I'm like, okay, I'm like going to make a move for a kiss. So I go in for a kiss, and we start making out. And the same woman that I just helped out starts going, woo! Yeah! Get it! Yeah, he's a catch! Woo! He's a good guy! And I'm like...
Should have let her die.
I'm enraged. I stop the kiss, and I look at her, I go, shut the fuck up.
No, you didn't.
I go, what the fuck? I go, I just helped you out. This is how you treat someone who just helped you out? She's going, no, it's okay. Keep kissing.
Okay, so she thought you were joking, probably, when you're yelling at her.
I don't know what the fuck she thought. Then I go back to like bring the girl to the Uber, and I go to make out with her again. The woman, again, she goes, woo, get it! Kiss him! And I'm like, are you an asshole? Like the girl was like, okay, I'm going to get out of here, as I'm yelling at Samantha.
You're yelling at an older woman.
Right. I'm yelling at the woman I just helped up.
Right.
To go fuck herself. I was like, this is how you treat someone who helps you?
This is all very New York.
This is like, I did feel like I'm like in this like New York like short film about a life that fucking sucks. Like I'm like, every turn is embarrassing.
A great life. You're recognized by, glass half full. You're recognized by an adoring fan. Mm-hmm. You go outside.
Adoring fan who thinks I don't fuck.
while you're on a hot date.
Right. It was I just.
She gets to see you help someone else.
Yeah.
For a second until you. What did she say about it? Not anything.
She was just like trying to get in her Uber. Like I think it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like it was awkward.
Right.
But she was very nice, and then gets in the Uber, and then like I'm like the Uber drives away, and I like look at this Samantha woman. I go, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. How long do you think you have for an outdoor get in the cab make out?
5 minutes.
You could do 5 minutes of making out. It's a long make out.
Well, no, it's like a make out and then like a pull away
right.
and then
go
a
back
make out
in
again and then the car is here. It sucks when the car like takes too long.
Because you're like, well, what are we? We've already done the whole.
Can't like go to second base
thing.
right now. Yeah,
right, yeah.
Like
you gotta time it well. It's tough.
You're trying to time it well. That's why it was so annoying that this woman like is falling over, not like getting up, because I'm like, I got 5 minutes to stick my tongue down this girl's throat.
The clock has started.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a good date.
Cinderella.
It sounds like.
It was nice. It was nice. Definitely had a fun time, but it's
good story.
Good story.
To work for the Our Story
I went
page.
home, and that's when I went to Boca after that, and that's why I got a suntan that was a burn, and I'm peeling. If you're watching on YouTube, there's some skin on the mic.
I wouldn't give to be peeling.
I know. I'm going to summer next week. Like
I know.
I'm traveling
for weeks,
to summer.
You're gonna come back so tan. I'm gonna be so jealous.
Oh, you're gonna be jealous. I'm gonna
have to go to a tanning bed.
You're gonna have to catch up. You're gonna have to really do some things so it doesn't look awkward on YouTube.
It's going to.
We can't have someone looking bright and lively and then
I'm pasty and sad. I'm gonna be like 3 weeks in the end of February, early March.
Are you doing any trips? Are you doing any like?
No, I am doing a trip. I'm gonna be in. I will be gone. I'm taking. Well, I had to plan a trip while you're away. I'll have a little extra time
because we got a head like
pre-recording. I'm going to the Cayman Islands.
The Cayman Islands, British.
Yes. Is it?
I think it's a British isle. Is it?
Could be.
Who are you going with?
I'm going with Mike.
So you and Mike off to the Cayman Islands.
Off to the Cayman Islands. I am so. If it rains, I will be so devastated.
Don't even say the words. Why would you even?
I don't know. I was
thinking
about how I was excited. I mean, we're recording this on February 13th.
Right.
I was thinking about how excited I am to go on this trip, and then I was like, just keep thinking about how I'm going to be in the sun. I'm not going to be cold. It's going to be great. And then a wave of doubt passed through and poured over me, and the voice was like, "What if it rains the whole time?
Right.
What if the weather's not good?
This negativity.
Oh my God, it's going to be great.
Well, it's going to be great. Don't even mention the R word. My brother and his wife went to like the Bahamas, and they didn't have great weather. And I felt for them.
And they were fine. Were they fine?
No, they're getting a divorce.
Some people,
now.
some people don't care. Some people are like,
Everyone cares.
I'm on a trip.
No, you say that after you care.
Okay.
You care that it rains, and then you go, we're on vacation. There could be worse things in the world.
Right.
And,
then
I sit there, I go, there's nothing worse in the entire fucking
world. What do you do?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Movies?
Read a book? Watch a movie?
Don't say such a thing.
I guess you get a massage, but that's so that you can't really, that's not going to.
You can get a massage. I get wildly hammered.
Yeah.
That's my move.
That
when
would be
it rains like that, I do a workout. I like try, if it rains on vacation, I go to the gym. I like get a sweat in so that I can feel like something was accomplished. I try my best to go outside, like I fight through it. Like,
I'll stay
drizzle,
until the rain really is like, it's embarrassing to be out there still.
Right. The towel over the head move that you do for 5 minutes.
You're like, it's gonna go away. Sun's, I see a sliver of the sun in the distance.
All the bullshit, all the delusional shit. And then that's when it's like, okay, so it's a wash. And you're going into like heavy drinking.
Yeah.
The type of drinking where it's like dinner has been canceled.
Because you're sleeping.
We are going to bed at 6 p.m.
Right.
We are going to wake up at 3 a.m. We're going to eat everything in the mini bar and then pass out, and we will start anew tomorrow.
Okay. That will be my backup plan.
I don't think I actually think I am the best vacationer in the world.
I mean, it sounds like you have plans for no matter what happens.
No matter what happens, someone should be lucky.
Well,
to be on a vacation with me.
Well, you're taking a vacation in Australia.
Yes.
Right? But you don't really I wouldn't say you're like planning vacations for yourself usually.
No. Right? The vacation kind of happens as I'm going.
Well, you sort of attach it. You always attach it to work. I've never seen you take a trip, besides going to Boca. I've never seen you take a trip like without a work element in the front loaded or back loaded into it. Like with Can, you went to Ibiza,
yes.
right after.
Yeah, that was part of the work trip.
Right, you went after. Yeah.
I think
you haven't really, maybe in France. That was
the problem.
Yeah.
Well, I like what I do. I like, doing podcasts. I'm going to be doing podcasts from Australia, which to me, if I was listening to the show, I would think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Get this report from down under. What are we talking about today?
Today we've got some great emails.
We have fun ones today.
And you've got and if you got some shows.
I got shows.
Now you're about to be back from Australia.
Well, when I'm back, if I'm out there in Australia, but when I'm back, I'll be on my way back. Nashville, I'm doing a week of workout shows.
Ooh.
So it's like all the new material, trying to like get to an hour with like new materials, all from the special like, taped in December.
Week in Nashville's fun.
Week in Nashville. All week. It's for the Nashville Comedy Festival. It's in their smaller rooms, so it's like intimate. We'll, I'll do some crowd work. We'll tape them, all that stuff. So that I'm excited about. I'm coming to Morris Plains, New Jersey. I'm also coming to Rochester. So
where is Morris Plains?
I don't know. It's got to be Northern Jersey.
Got to be.
Because I'm coming back right afterwards. So
okay. So you can.
It's a small room too. This is all to get ready. So the plan for me, like show wise, is to do a proper tour in the fall.
Okay.
So like this is all
You're getting ready.
This is a little bit
warming up.
A little warm up, get some stuff together so that I can do some theaters and feel good about it. But other than that, that's what's going on.
I'm excited to see your new set.
It's coming.
Let me know when you're doing it in New York.
It is.
I want all the practicing out of the way, though. I want like a semi-finished product.
Yeah, you don't want the garbage.
Yeah. Save that for Nashville.
We'll make it tight. You and my parents are very encouraging. This is the same speech they give me.
Oversharing. Check it out. We're on YouTube.
We just referenced the episode from 2/12.
Yeah, which is now a month ago. So make sure you listen.
I was angry. It's in the beginning. I was angry for Dr. Naomi. She should have been more angry.
I have to be angry at anyone that Dr. Naomi's angry with because she so rarely gets riled up. She's like literally
she beat her son in the episode as well. So let's not.
Poked him.
She
poked
him, and she felt bad about it. I was like, my mom used to fucking whack me. Are you kidding me?
Did she like for real?
There would be a slap of a certain kind,
not on the face,
not on the shoulder. That wasn't her fucking boyfriend in a soap opera. You scoundrel!
Like a shoulder tap.
She would give you a whack in public. It was like the most embarrassing thing that could ever happen. You're like, I'm a man. You're going to hit me? So when you're 10.
And look at her now. You showed her who's boss.
Right. Apparently, I'm a big fucking pussy. So it's called The Importance of Shedding Your Shame, as I'm talking about my shame now. I guess that'll be...
We're going to have you on. Talk about some shameful moments.
Right.
Let me know if you accumulate any in Australia. You can come on after.
There'll be a lot of shame. Yes. Coming from Australia. So
all right, let's do it.
I love this email.
Great email.
Because it's something you hear about. Tough to like confide in people, I think, with this email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
for a woman to tell someone else, like her friend.
Yeah, because it could be larger issues.
Yeah, it could definitely. People would judge.
Well, based on the specifics. Let's get into it because there's some things here. Their situation.
Hi, J&J, longtime listener and benefit subscriber. Love the podcast and have a dilemma of my own. I've been with my boyfriend for a little over a year. We live together now and moved in just a couple of months ago. Yesterday, my friend suggested we do a girls' trip to Miami. We went for spring break while we were in college and had so much fun that we wanted to have a weekend to relive it. I brought it up to my boyfriend and asked him how he would feel about it if I went on the trip. He became noticeably uncomfortable and said that he wouldn't love it. We had a conversation about it, and he mentioned that it seemed like a single-person place, and he doesn't get why I want to go. For context, I'm 24, and he's 28, so I still have a desire to go out and party late, but he has mellowed out a lot as he's gotten older. I was initially upset and annoyed because this felt controlling to me, and I didn't want to feel like I couldn't make my own decisions. He did say that he doesn't want to stop me from going if I want to, but knowing that it makes him uncomfortable deters me from going on the trip because I don't want to make him uncomfortable, and I would be nervous about how he's feeling while I'm on this trip. So J&J, what are your thoughts on this? Is he being controlling or just expressing his opinions and feelings that I asked about? Thanks for all you do. A maybe not Miami batch.
It's a great email.
Good email.
The email, listen, you're 24 and you want to go to Miami.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's called being 24.
Right.
Like, I think he's realizing what you get when you date a 24-year-old. Like, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that.
He's not that old.
He's 28.
He's 28,
right.
which I would say is like close to a female 24.
Totally. From our angle.
Yes.
Mentally close
Yes.
to a female 24. Totally agree. But it's just like he's probably in that phase. Everyone's engaged, getting married. That is the domino age where it's like
he's like, my girlfriend's going on this Miami trip.
Right. Well, also the way
is she going to be serious enough for me?
I guess, but they just moved. Here's why this is a tough email for her to write. They just moved in. They're a year in. I can understand where she's like, now I got this jealous boyfriend of my Miami. I can't live the life I want to lead. Like, who do you even tell? Like, I told everyone how I'm moving in with my boyfriend. I'm the first one to do it. I'm 24, and I got this great 28-year-old boyfriend who's ready to, like, settle down. And then now, oh, my God,
I can't go to Miami? Right. Well, he's not saying that. He said that he didn't say you can't go to Miami. He said it makes him uncomfortable.
Right.
I think you need to have a discussion. Like, the discussion about it is going to be so much more telling than like whatever. It sounds like she said it, he said it would make her uncomfortable, and now she's like, should I go or not go? That's not the issue here. She needs to talk to him and be like, why don't you want me to go? What are you afraid of? Do you not trust me? Do you feel like it's a bad look for me? Like, what is your fear here with me going? Like, what makes you uncomfortable about it? Because I was almost thinking about this like a woman might talk about a strip club.
Yeah, right.
Right? Where you're like, I don't want you to go. It makes me uncomfortable. That's something a woman could say to a man. He's going on I'm assuming like a bachelor party, or I assume not like for lunch, whatever. And I think that would be like a reasonable conversation to have. This is obviously a different setting than I'm going to a strip club, but it is a sense of like I'm going to a party place where we're going out at night, and there's going to be like a lot of partying and dancing and maybe flirting. She
literally said, we went for spring break while we were in college and had so much fun that we wanted to have a weekend to relive it.
Right.
So when you put it in that context, it is very much strip club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm happy you brought it up that way. It's a good angle to like reverse it a little bit because a strip club could make someone feel uncomfortable. A guy, I can understand my hot 24-year-old girlfriend is going with all her single probably friends to Miami where men are there to hook up with girls that they invite on their boat. Yeah. And she might want to go on a boat because her friend is like, I'm single. These guys invited us on a boat. And he's got to trust that she
That's what I'm saying. He's got to
ready to be at the same place in life as him. Same for a strip club.
Yeah.
At a strip club, you might be with your single friends, and this doesn't happen as much as maybe you might think.
Maybe
but like
a stripper has her eye on you.
Right, which she doesn't. But you have a single friend who's wants to be at the strip club and wants to, you know,
engage in strip club behaviors.
Right. Yeah. And you have to trust that your boyfriend is there for the fun of the group and not to like be with, I don't know, get a lap dance. But even that, I'm like, that's what you do at a strip club. But whatever.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why I think even a conversation if you had if it was, let's say the roles were reversed and she had a conversation, I don't want you going to a strip club. And then I think it'd be totally valid for him to say, what are you afraid of?
Right. What is
your fear here?
I think that's like let's get to the heart of it.
That's what gets you closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because to say that he says it makes me uncomfortable and he said he doesn't want to stop me from going. No, this is the line that I love the most. He became noticeably uncomfortable and said he wouldn't love it. We had a conversation about it. He mentioned that it seems like a single-person place to go. Is Miami a single-person place to go? What would you consider single place to go versus coupley place to go?
I think Vegas is a single-person place to go.
Okay.
I would say Miami is more fun probably as a single person. Like if I'm thinking of coupley versus single person.
I think it's an interesting way to like put it. Like if she was going to like, if
she was going to like a resort in like Mexico or Sedona.
Right. That's like a girls trip place. That's like fuddy-duddy.
If she was going to Napa, would he be as worried?
Right.
Is that less of an issue, I think, maybe?
Right. But it is funny. No, I don't think it would be less of an issue, but her friends who, when you're 24, this is the thing. You're dating a 24-year-old woman. She's with 24-year-old women who want to do 24-year-old women things. Right. Not to say that a 34-year-old woman wouldn't want to go to Miami, but the energy is different.
For sure. I think she should 100% go to Miami. I don't think that him feeling uncomfortable is a reason she shouldn't go. But I do think if this is her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend that she likes, she can do her best to appease whatever his fear is. If his fear is you're going to flirt with someone or like, I'm not going to hear, I'm afraid, because that's where you get to a vulnerable state. Right. Maybe he's been cheated on before. Maybe it's, that's the reason so he gets anxious when you're going out and being around.
Right, and maybe
whatever, like maybe you don't know. Clearly, there's something that has an insecurity, and to me, the test of the relationship is can he tell you about that, and can that make you closer?
What is the insecurity? The insecurity might be, and this is like the part where you really start to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. When you and your friends hang out, it's like in a way that you don't have a boyfriend.
Well, that's a conversation that you might want to have. Yeah,
the pictures I see, and like. Again, it's easy to go, well, shut the fuck up, you insecure fucking loser. But you're not in that relationship. Like, you're in this. Do you like this relationship more than you like, the partying? And it's like, I don't think you have to choose between the two, right. But you have to like acknowledge that someone, you can have both. Yeah. But you have to acknowledge that like someone on the other end, like, is.
But someone needs to be vulnerable though here too. Like right. He needs to, if he wants you to, I don't think you should not go to Miami. Maybe he could say, I was cheated on in the past. I get really nervous. I'm a little worried. I think you're so amazing. I'm like a little worried someone's going to like take you from me.
Right. Miami is a single vacation place is not a good answer.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. That's not a vulnerable answer. That's not an answer that gets you like telling you your fear gets you at least something. Okay, well then how can I make you feel like more relaxed about this? Do you want me to call you before I go to sleep? Do you like what would make you feel a little bit better? And I think I think if it was the strip club example, I think you'd be entitled to ask for whatever it is that would make you feel more comfortable with the situation.
Right. I was trying to think of myself in this like situation. Mm-hmm. Like I kept thinking
let's say you had a girlfriend and she was like, I don't want you going to the strip club on this guy's trip.
I would say, what's the problem? What do you think is going to happen? I would do a similar thing.
Right.
I'm trying to think if I was dating a younger woman that like went to Miami, I wouldn't like. I would hope I would go have fun.
Right.
You would hope to
if you trust someone, you probably would.
Right.
If you fully trust someone.
Right. And I was thinking like if I didn't trust them, but that might be for her. Like she has to like honestly like you have to like this could become a bigger thing. Mm-hmm. Is like if he's saying I'm uncomfortable, the controlling aspect. You can only be controlled if you.
He's uncomfortable. That's how he feels. Right. You're allowed. He didn't say you're not allowed to go. He didn't
when she puts the word like, is this controlling? Like, do you have a right to like respond to this? Of course you do. It doesn't have to be considered controlling to have a response. Your response to him, I feel uncomfortable, is what makes you uncomfortable. Just let's have a response. Like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Again, that's the thing that I think is going to be the answer to, does this have longevity?
What would make you uncomfortable with Mike going on a trip? Is there anything that would make you feel uncomfortable with your husband going on a trip? Like what trip
at this point in our relationship?
Yeah.
I feel like I trust. I have so much faith in him. I have like so much trust in him that there's really very little that he could do that I would feel super uncomfortable with. When we first started dating, different story.
Right.
I think because we talk about this all the time, like you don't have that many, the less time you've been together, the fewer like circumstances you have to have seen them in.
Right. So that's empathy for this guy. Like, hey, he's insecure, but it could be a little insecurity.
Could be.
It doesn't have to be this big thing. It could get deeper.
Right.
Like if this continues and he won't have this conversation with you,
right?
You have to wonder why. If he won't let go here, it's like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and
or
I would
it
say
might just be like, hey, when you're gonna go out with your friends and I'm gonna be here alone and I'm gonna have to watch the whole thing on Instagram stories and you're gonna dress hot and we haven't even gone on vacation once and.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is about the nuances of the relationship, and I would say like in the beginning. If Mike would go away and I wouldn't get a text at the end of the night or something at the end of the night, I'd be like a little anxious.
Right.
I don't think that's like crazy, right?
And I'm sure you'd be anxious for a number of things. Like, is he okay?
More about him cheating. No, I'm just saying. Like, I think that that you develop that trust over time. I do think it's not like you just started dating; they live together. Like,
but it's just a year. A year's So, yeah, I'm with you.
I'm saying I think it's talking through it is what's going to give you like a good sense of like, one, can you get deeper about what his actual fear is?
Right. Again, like it's funny in the email, like, is he controlling? That's almost like separating you guys. Because if he's like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable with you going to Miami, it's like, this is kind of like a single person's trip. Oh, I guess you're trying to control me. It's like, okay, there's no conversation.
Right. If you're making it about that. Because again, he didn't say, and that would be, if he did say that, I think I would have a different answer. If he was like, there's no way you're going to Miami. I'm going to break up with you if you go to Miami. That's a different.
Controlling. Yeah.
That's controlling. He said, it makes me uncomfortable. I think that's worth another conversation.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's do another email.
Let's do it.
Awkward encounter. Love this one. uup@betches.com. Keep sending them in. This is an awkward encounter. Jared and Jordana, huge fan. I'll get right to the point. Writing in with an awkward encounter, hoping you have some advice for this nightmare scenario my sister is in now. This is a sister writing in, okay, on behalf of her sister.
All right, let's hear it.
My sister, let's call her Colette. Very specific.
That is an extremely random, specific name.
Right. Okay, Colette. Is a 30-year-old living in a trendy neighborhood of a large West Coast city. The other day, her apartment building's fire alarm went off, and as she exited her apartment, she ran into her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend. Okay, so let's go over the specifics. Okay. It is a woman writing in on behalf of her sister who had a fire alarm go off in her building, runs into her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend.
Yes.
This is like
crazy.
Worst case scenario.
Literally. The worst thing that could possibly happen.
In the world, this is the worst thing happening in this world.
Right now.
Right now. Leaving the apartment right next door to her. So they live next door to each other.
That's even worse.
I didn't think this could get worse.
It got worse.
Starvation, famine, death. No, this is worse.
Next door.
Next door. As in the apartment shares a wall with hers. I'm just imagining them having sex. Hey, we're fucking. Shh. Apparently, she moved in a week ago. For context, this guy absolutely burned her. Without diving too far into the details, think cold, standoffish, and lack of acknowledging her feelings, semi-ghosting her without a true explanation for why he broke things off about a year and a half ago. Lots of loose ends and zero closure. All the works.
This sounds like a very standard breakup.
I had the same thought.
He absolutely obliterated her. He stopped texting her after they broke up.
Right.
And
I'm not ready. He said he's not ready for a relationship.
So when someone says semi-ghosting,
that means
they broke up and then he stopped texting.
Right. So he told her he doesn't want to be with her anymore and then didn't have a full-on paragraph that made her go, oh, that's a good reason to dump me.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Not taking away anything from the sisters' breakup, but it does sound very standard. You can still be very upset with this because here's the thing, you don't have to make it into like an epic tale for you to have a right to feel shitty.
Well, no, I agreed. Fast forward to now, she's worked really hard to create a safe space for herself in this new apartment. I swear to God, all these women are living in a rom-com of their own, writing. Like,
this is her.
She's created the safe space with a curtain that flows in the wind, and she's got a big old. She's got a big dream catcher that reminds her that life is all about dreaming, and you don't have to be with Zach anymore. Good for Colette.
We did it.
She moved into it about a year and a half ago.
It's also funny because there's no reason for them to even say her name. They don't use it at all for the rest of the email.
Maybe she's always dreamed of being a Colette.
Perhaps.
This is the best sentence. She moved into it about a year and a half ago after the breakup. So did they live together? We don't even know if they lived together. Bravely choosing to live alone for the first time.
So maybe. Or she could have lived with friends and then moved alone. I don't know.
It is very brave of her. No one lives alone. This whole situation, firefighters, police officers, army people, woman moving into her own apartment.
All American heroes.
All brave.
Should we ring the bell at 7 p.m.?
Pots and pans
for all the single ladies living alone.
For the 27-year-olds living by themselves in a very trendy neighborhood in a West Coast city. We kid because we love,
Yes.
okay? We're on your side. Don't get upset. I'm just saying this is like
we're laughing with you.
Right.
I think.
You're going to be okay. You're doing great. You're living in a trendy neighborhood. You're killing it. This whole situation seems just too bizarre to be real. It's a huge city, and it's rather unclear whether he knew that was her actual building or not. If you speak in extremes, you're always going to speak in extremes, and you're going to make yourself more angry and everyone more evil. Let me just say that.
Right.
Because when you say...
But that's also how you tell an interesting story.
Fair. That is true. But it's also how you incriminate someone. Like, to say, it's unclear whether he knew that was her actual building or not. The idea...
Of course he didn't know.
That his new girlfriend is like, I got to find a place to live. And he's like, move next to my ex. Really
there happens to be an apartment open there.
How would he know? Like, can we live in reality for 2 fucking seconds?
He didn't know.
He didn't know. All that being said, what should she do?
That is a tough one.
Is it too much to expect that he let his new girlfriend know the awkwardness of the situation? Personally, I think it would be atrocious if he expected her to be okay with the chances that they continue to run into each other on a daily basis. But that's just me. If not, how can she politely ask the new girlfriend to consider moving after just moving in? That's your first option?
That's crazy.
Or is there some lesson she's supposed to take from this? She's an awesome person who has dealt with a lot of dating ups and downs since this breakup. Well, that's not his fault. This just seems like too bizarre a situation to not deal with head on. Thanks, a nosy neighborhood batch.
I disagree that this is too bizarre of a situation to not deal with head on.
Well, it depends on what your definition of head on is. Head on is...
Asking her to move?
That's a different head on. Head on to me is living your life and dealing with like awkward situations that come up and dealing with them as they come and being an adult. And maybe you see her in the hallway and you say, hey, I know this is crazy, but we actually share an ex and it's a little awkward for me. And I just want to let you know because it just makes me feel awkward. And I don't want to get in the way of your relationship, but it's just a little weird. And I can't believe that I'm having this conversation with you. That's like a way of living.
That's a head on.
Head on.
Right, sure.
Asking someone to move is actually the opposite of head on. It's like, please go away as if you don't exist and as if the world doesn't have problems that I'm going to have to deal with.
Right. No, I agree. There's no way you can ask anyone to move. That's insane. Just throw that out. Throw that into the idea garbage.
Yeah, and also don't say that to people.
They're gonna think you're crazy.
Right. We're saying
she's
this
like,
as
so
a
we
friend.
have to ask her to move, right?
Right.
Of course.
The more people you tell this to, the more people will avoid you
Right.
and your sister for the rest of your lives.
And also, your sister shouldn't move. Like,
Well, this is
everyone
like
take
when-
a deep breath.
Right.
This
Like,
isn't like
everyone-
this isn't the emergency situation that I think she's making it into. Is it uncomfortable? Yes.
Life is uncomfortable, and you know who else is uncomfortable for? Her ex-boyfriend. He didn't want this. You think he wanted?
We don't give a shit about him.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the idea that he's like, oh, good cat fight. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
If this happened to me, I'd be like, oh my God, God, why would you do this to me? I'd be praying to the same God as her sister, asking why? Why would you make me have to go through this? Like, I just, and
No
I
one
know
wants this.
No one wants this. The idea, the guy who semi-ghosted, you think he wants to run into her again?
No. I don't think she's going to see him as much as she thinks she is.
He's going to be
that's
avoiding
number
her
one.
as much as she's
That's what
going to
I'm
be
saying.
avoiding him. Yeah.
That's number one. They happened. She only even knew that this happened because there was a fire drill,
Yeah.
which is when everyone would be, it's like the only time that everyone would be leaving their apartment at the same time.
Right. The only thing is that maybe you see each other in the hallway. They live next door to each other. I see
It's
my people
possible.
on my floor every now and again. And
it's not every day.
It does suck. I can understand from the sister's point of view.
Yeah.
My sister's gone through some shit. She's done all this stuff
Someone
to
who
get over
rejected
it.
her, it feels shitty.
And now there's this
totally
like
validate.
constant reminder of my ex. I do validate that sucks.
Yes.
What do you do? I think talking to her is like, that could help you alleviate
If
your
you
stress.
happen to run into her again, I wouldn't knock on the door.
Right.
You just know if they just started dating, this could be over in like a week. Like it could be over tomorrow.
Right.
She has no idea. Like
Maybe he's just banging some chick that lives in the building.
maybe it was just that one time.
Right. Maybe he's just having a great time with multiple women. You guys broke up and he's just on the apps with different women every night. And he really isn't even thinking of you.
And then maybe you can befriend the neighbor and you guys can start a revenge website against him where you talk about how he wronged you and he wronged her. And then you have John Tucker Must Die. Yeah.
Yeah, you can really have some fun with this. This could be a blessing.
You say you see your neighbor in the hall, you say, "Hey, welcome to the building. We have a lot in common. We like to hook up with the same kinds of guys." And
it could be fun.
There you go.
What if you guys became friends? Like,
Maybe,
this person isn't a bad person because they're dating someone that happens to be your ex. It's not her fault. Yeah, I don't know how else to like. I hope we didn't make fun of her too bad because this email is like written very well, but also extreme.
It's also been how long ago did they date?
A year and a half ago.
They broke up a year and a half ago. She doesn't say how long they were dating.
Right. But I can understand a tough breakup. You go back in the dating pool.
Right.
It sucks out there.
I wish she gave more context.
Yeah.
Because like they could have been dating for 3 months and then he semi-ghosted her, or like it could have been
8 years.
Yeah. Like I do think that also kind of matters in how you would handle it.
And also
like, could she text
triggering it would be.
Right. Like could she text him and say like, to me, that would be like the easiest way to also break the ice. Like, the easiest way to get past something is through it. So if I would, depending on her relationship with him, how long they were together, I think if they were together for like a year or more, you could definitely text him and be like, "Hey, awkward situation seeing you there. Like, I hope everything's fine. If I see you, like, we can do the whatever way of like."
I think like having the communication makes you feel better because you're like, at least like I can hear the tone and
well, then if you see him again, it's like, you know, you've broken the ice. You don't need to do anything else.
I think that's the most helpful thing, that sending him a text. But I think her fear with sending him a text would be like, now he's back in, and he might like try to like keep communication up, and that is even worse.
He has a girlfriend here.
Listen, maybe they're just hooking up. We said and now he's just like, oh, that's an invitation. Like it's like the happy birthday text. Like it's like now he's back in the phone, and I don't even want to go down that road. But like I think she can do what you're saying with a period at the end, where it's like, hey, I saw you the other day. It was awkward. If I run into you, let's just be cool, but just know that I'm still a little bit. That could be hard to send too. Like,
I wouldn't send that, and then just know that I still fucking hate you. Okay.
Well,
you see me, I'm gonna smile and wave.
I'm still grieving the breakup, and this wasn't easy for me, and I just want you to know that. So
you can walk the other way.
Right. Listen, here's the thing. There's no good answer.
So keep it down.
That's why it's awkward. Yeah. So when you're fucking, I heard you the other night.
I mean, this is the basis for a great rom-com.
It is totally the basis of a rom-com. Listen, I do. This is a shitty situation. It's also, your sister is an adult who's going to be better off for it. This is like when people parent, they just give their kid whatever they want. Like this sister's solution is to bring up a shitty person.
Yeah.
Like, I think a better person is formed from this experience than the person who avoids this experience.
Agreed. She shouldn't be asking anyone to move. I don't know why that was her first thought.
Let's do another email. So, where should she move? What? Another great email.
Another great email.
Kind of the theme here for the last couple months.
This is like this month's theme.
Yeah, I do think it's an interesting topic because it is hard to explain.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into it.
I did get a message the other day. What happened? They wanted more information. They wanted to know what happened with like our benefits episode. So
they're about to find out.
They're about to find out if you're a benefits subscriber. If you're not a benefits subscriber, I would subscribe right now. There's like kind of a little bit of a saga going on there that goes into this.
That we closed the loop on.
We did close a loop.
Yes. Hello, let's get into it. I'm 34. This woman has no time to waste.
No time.
I'm 34, female, living in a large West Coast city, and I'm back on the dating apps after a year-long break.
Well, ... Welcome back. You're ready to fuck a dude.
She's back.
Or a chick.
We'll find out.
Whatever you're into is good.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, I'm not the singer. My first match immediately asked me out with his first message. Okay. Coming in hot.
Yeah.
It was a shock to my system because I was so used to texting with no end in sight and never even getting to meet. But I still said sure. We got drinks a few days later and it went great. Have you ever done that? Immediate asking out on the message.
I've all of everything that's happened.
You've done it all.
I've done it all.
You've done it all.
I've never done the immediate ask out, but I've been like 2 messages. Let's just go out, and we've done that. And I think there's some merit to it. I do think
you have to be in the right headspace.
Right headspace. I do think it has to happen that night in a neighborhood that's like easy. Mm-hmm. Like I do think there's like good to that. Like, hey,
let's just fucking go.
Let's go. I'm like, oh, you live in this neighborhood. I live in that neighborhood. I'm actually going out tonight for dinner. Want to meet for drinks now? Like that's advice we've given here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do think it's also
immediate ask. No, even intro is a lot. If that's what she's saying.
Well, there's also like again
First
with
message.
good, there's bad. You know, I understand I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that where it's like a week later. Like if you're gonna do that immediate, like, hey, I see her in my neighborhood. I'm gonna be out that night. It's gotta be quick.
That night, maybe the next night. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
But like the whole idea of like next week drinks Thursday night.
I might not even remember you exist.
Yeah, like I'm not even excited about this. So
we got drinks a few days later and it went great. Afterwards, we didn't text for 2 days, and I thought I had misinterpreted the whole vibe. Trying not to be a bag in the wind, as Jared says.
Finally, I'm quoted correctly.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's about time. I texted him to see how he was doing. He replied saying he was good, and in the same message gave me a date, time, location for dinner on our next date. Wow, this guy, he just needs a little reminder.
It's a little bit.
How many women do you think he's seeing?
To? Yeah, this is a little. This is cheater energy. This is I'm dating a lot energy. Mm-hmm. It's not good.
Red flag. I felt instantly reassured. She doesn't know you that well.
Right. If only she had my number, she could have texted me. What do you think?
No, I get it, but I understand her, what she's thinking. She's like, oh, like she's been dreaming up this whole story about how this guy isn't interested in her. She's worked up the courage to send this text with this exact thing. This is exactly what she wanted from the text. That's why she sent the text.
Right, but it is like it's like a wish to a genie.
Right.
That goes wrong. It is such a funny predicament to be like, I want a plan. And then you text a guy like, hey, how you been? And he's like, Tuesday night at 8, meet me. And you're like,
if it seems too good to be true,
right.
It probably is.
Right. Your wish is my command. Meet me in an hour.
Right.
And you're like,
but I see why she was excited. She was like, great.
Like, I got what I want.
Literally, yes. Right. But I see what you're saying. Like it was too fast, too quick to be real. We again didn't text until the actual date. This time we had dinner and chatted for way longer than the first, and it was super nice.
Okay.
Though after, we again didn't text for days, during which I was uneasy and again wondered if I misinterpreted something. I reached out to ask if he wanted to hang out during the week, and he said he very much would like to, and gave me the days he was free. Look, this guy is like a push-a date.
Right.
Like a push bear for dates. Hey, what's up? Saturday, 7 p.m. Italian.
Right. Yeah, this is what you want.
She gets every time she puts a coin in the machine, she gets a date.
Gets a date
right out.
Right. It is so funny to me because it's like you're getting what you want, but you're like, this doesn't taste.
Something's
like,
off.
Right.
Right.
You can't complain about it. She's in a predicament.
Right. Well, she's about to tell us. I guess my thoughts for you guys to talk out is, am I overthinking when there's no texting in between dates? For me, a quick how's it going or how's your day been text on days we don't see each other helps us get to know each other. But is that even true? Is it pointless? Is all that really matters how the actual date goes? Also, if I do want a bit more communication, is that fair to ask? What frequency of texting is considered normal or shows interest? A texting thirsty bitch.
This is exactly what we've been talking about like the last month. It is, and maybe because of the weather that this is coming up a lot.
Could be.
Because you're not really leaving the house as much. You're on your phone a little bit more. It's, darker for longer parts of the day. You're just looking to like chit chat with someone. And if you have a date set up, you do. I think
there's a middle ground to this.
It's a three bear situation. Yeah. It is, mama bear. It's the too hot, too cold, just right. And everyone's just right is different. Like, right. I do think it is different to be like, hey, how was your day today? And then have no answer. And then, hey, day was fine. Like, if your answer is, I've just been crazy busy, but I do want to see you again. Like, let's get it something in the books now because I can't even come up for air. Like, that is like a thoughtful, caring answer that like lets you know, like, I'm just not looking to chit chat over text, and that's how I act. It's an acknowledgement. You know, I do think, hey, how you been? And then no answer, and then Tuesday night at 8, and you're like, okay, it's okay to be turned off by that.
Right. And also she keeps having to like message him, which is also kind of annoying.
Push the agenda.
Right.
It's like
does he want to go, or is he just reacting to like and all his plans reactive?
I've been the guy on the other side of like the woman texting me, and then I'm like, I will go out. Like,
and but those don't work out usually, I think.
I do think he's dating other people. Here's my prognosis of this situation. When someone's not really there to text with you, they're texting someone. Whenever I've been...
Maybe. Sometimes people really are busy.
This is what everyone says, but listen, you can be busy, but you can also be caring.
Right.
I think like acknowledging like, I haven't gotten back to you, or I just don't think two people could be on such different pages.
Do you think it would be different, this kind of communication, if he was texting her very little small talk, but just asking her to, every text is asking her on a date?
I don't know. I think sometimes with this conversation, the texting is like compared to like what a married couple texts each other. Mm-hmm. Like, I think like a texting with like two, like, because it's always like the relationship friend that's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't matter where you are.
You are, right, at that
like,
point.
Right.
In the beginning, it matters
I'm trying
more.
to get to know someone. I'm trying to like see like if like they even care to get together with me. And like, texting is caring. Thinking of someone is
a little
caring.
bit.
A little bit. It doesn't have to be.
No, I agree.
Like, even if a conversation just goes idle, that's okay. Like, I don't think like
I don't think it needs to be I don't think it needs to be every day.
No.
I don't think it needs to be like constant all day. I actually think that's bad. But I do think a little bit of like a check-in here and there. But sometimes women are like, if he texts me after the date and he's not asking me to do, I feel like if he asks, if you have a plan set up, then you could have the texting in between.
This is where the conversation gets muddled because
I remember being so annoyed about that. It'd be like, they'd text you after the date.
Right.
And then you'd be like talking after the date, and then you'd be like, well, how long are you going to be asking me to go on another date, or are we just going to be chatting?
This gets into the like Three Bears situation, because you can be texting and forming a relationship over text, and you're like, why am I getting deep with this person
I've only met once?
That I've met once, right? And you go, and then you get to the next person, you don't want to be burned because you're like, I'm crying over someone I went on one date with, but texted for days with.
Right.
And then the next person comes along and you're like, I'm not going to text at all. And now you're just like not giving in to like this other person who's trying to like get to know you. It's like, and it goes back and forth. That's why this is such a podcast topic and such not a TikTok topic.
Agreed.
And I'm sure, there's people out there, and I see it, like, you don't text after the first date unless they text you. Don't text thank you. Like, that's crazy.
That's rude.
It's rude. It's stupid. Like, how little do you trust yourself? Like, to not suss out. And again, we've all been burned. You are going to get burned. You're not going to avoid. Yeah,
there's no way to do it so that everyone likes you and no one dumps you.
Right, and there's no way to do it where you never get too ahead of yourself with texting.
Sure.
Like it's gonna happen. You're gonna text with someone a little bit longer than you would have liked to, and then you're gonna have to go, hey, if you don't make a plan, I gotta be out of here. And you're gonna realize that there are some people that are just there to be texted.
But if you don't like texting in the in-between and someone's trying to text you, you could say like, I'm super swamped. I'm excited to talk about this on a date.
Put a pin in it.
Yeah.
We love
put a pin. We said that like, last episode. Yeah.
And again, caring is different than, when someone's like, some people are bad texters. Are they bad, at being caring?
Right.
Like, that's why I don't buy the bad texter thing. It's like, are you bad at reading like, hey, how you been today? And going and having a response that's human?
Right. Are you bad about caring what other people think?
Right. Or you don't care what I think.
Yeah, caring what I think.
And then it's like, okay, those are two people that are probably not the match.
I agree with that.
So
I agree
It's so hard. I think this is like one of the harder beginning topics.
And she said, can I say something? 100%. I think if she seems to like this guy, I would go on the next date. I would say, hey, I don't really hear from you after like the dates. I feel like I'm always reaching out. I'm trying to get a sense of, like, do you not like to text?
Right. What's the deal?
What's the deal? Yeah.
Right. And also, like, there can be like a thing where like, oh my God, if you're like looking to like kind of test this out, I'm not a big test guy, but like there's a good way to test it.
I love a good test.
Right. A little pop quiz can be like, oh my, like, this is also like a test for yourself. Like, did something happen on that date that you want to text them about? If it's no, maybe the date wasn't that great. But if something happened, like you guys had a conversation about something, let's reference that conversation. But hey, you're not going to believe this. Look what came up on my feed today.
What if he's like, that's hysterical. Do you want to go out on Friday?
Then that's who he is. Now, I guess he kind of passed the test. Like, I do think
it's more important for someone to ask to see you physically than it is for them to text you.
Yes. I do think, though, I don't think anyone wants to feel like they've been scheduled like they're a meeting. I think that's kind of what it feels like.
I would prefer that, though, I think, to like a lot of textual banter.
Right.
I do think that like the in-person is where you're actually deciding no one's like falling in love over text, I think.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm sitting here single. So like I have had great texts with people and I didn't end up with them. Mm-hmm. So who am I to say?
Right.
But I do know that I've had no text with someone and had a date plan and I'm like, why? And I do have this like, why the fuck am I going on this date?
Well, the date would have to be planned like it has to be like seeing each other with momentum, right. I think, if you're not going to do the in-between texting.
Yeah, it's just, and again, this is maybe a big city problem. People are like disposable.
I think if you're seeing each other twice, so if you go on 2 dates of the week, we don't need to be texting a ton.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely.
We're going on a date and then another date 3 weeks later. Like, of course, if we don't text, I'm going to forget about you.
Right. And that's not you being too good for the other person. It's just like life moves on.
Right.
Like, people are trying to fix you up. I'm trying to like get to know someone. Yeah. This is we talked about this last week with the idea of like these hangs that are more friend hangs, especially as you get older. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's just get together and have this like friend thing.
Right.
To get to know each other.
But also like I think that's good also because you're just seeing someone in person more,
right.
Which I do think a relationship is built in person.
Right. Yeah. This is difficult. Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
UUP@betches.com. Red flag or deal breaker. We love red flag or deal breaker because it is like, this is like life. You're dating someone.
Real scenarios.
Everything's going great. One thing happens and you're like, should I bail on this? That's red flag, deal breaker.
Yeah.
It's a red flag. I see it, but I'll stay. Deal breaker. I'm leaving.
Out. All right. Let's do our first one. You want to read it?
Yeah, this is a great one.
Love it.
Longtime listener, thank you for everything you do. I will cut to the chase. I'm single and just turned 30 a few months ago. Happy birthday.
I'm sure you did something huge, as we've discussed.
Oh, this single woman. No one has a bigger birthday. I'm finding a lot of men that are around this age have been posting a screenshot of their sports bets to their Instagram story.
No.
You don't like this?
I wouldn't like that. No.
It's a little, I post, so I'm a gambler.
Okay. Mike's a gambler as well.
Is he gambling on football?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I
would have liked to have known
this. Unless that's illegal, in which case he is not.
He is. He's perfectly well, and he's good in my book.
Okay.
I'll allow it. No, New York, I'm a DraftKings user.
I did the Super Bowl boxes with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you win any money?
Yeah, we won $500.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't even say it. Really?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
So you had the numbers?
We had the numbers for third quarter.
So you had the third quarter, the last two numbers of each of the scores.
Yes.
What a win.
It was great.
That is huge. Numbers boxes are hard to like hit. Those are hard.
It's so funny. Whenever he wins, I'm like, so where are you taking? Because usually he bets on all sorts of sports. I'm like, where are you taking me? And he's like, unless you're taking the losses, you're not really taking the wins either. But this one I went in with him.
Spoken like ours. A true accountant.
It's ours. Right?
Yeah.
That's romantic.
Yeah. That's a big win. I bet on the Super Bowl and
did you win?
Jalen Hurts MVP. That hit for me.
Okay.
I also had the first touchdown, I think. I did probably...
Are you up?
Probably not this season. I had kind of a tough season because I love a home dog. Bow wow.
Right.
a lot of home dogs, the odds are against you.
Right.
They're the underdog at home.
I see it.
Didn't really hit this season as much as other seasons had hit in the past. So
well, here's what I've learned about men who gamble.
Yeah.
Is that you
huge
guys
cocks.
is that you guys they're very loud when they're winning and they're very, very quiet when they haven't won. You only hear from them when they've had a big win.
This is a great point. It is something I know just from my dad went to the casinos like all the time. He always said it. You only hear about the wins. You only hear about the wins. So like
everyone's suddenly very quiet and like mysterious.
Right. Yeah. It is, especially if they're betting a lot of money because it's embarrassing.
Right.
So, I mean, this goes into this email. This is something new I've noticed, but I'm not sure what to think of it. And honestly, I don't even know how to interpret these. One guy I went out with bet about $30,000 on the Super Bowl on the Eagles and won like $250,000. That is absolutely fucking nuts.
That's crazy. But I also think for a guy who bet that much and won that much, he has lost so much money.
I agree.
In the past that you are not hearing about.
That's the problem. You're hearing about the biggest win. Like I don't know how he posted it. I don't know if he posted I bet 30,000 on the Eagles and then the next post was, "Oh my god, I won 250,000." Or did he post it after the fact when he won? So like those are two different posts. But they're very similar to me because if you're posting that you're betting $30,000, I think that's tacky.
I agree.
Like, I just think that's like...
It's like that version of like the Hinge picture where you're standing in front of the Corvette.
Absolutely. Because you can post, I bet on the Eagles. Like, that is a fine... I post...
You're trying to flex something.
Right. Yeah. Like, posting that you bet on the Eagles and posting that you bet 30,000 on the Eagles are very different things. And one is classy and fine. Mm-hmm. Like I posted my bets before. It's fun.
It's fine
to see people. I'm on that too. You know, like
no,
whatever.
I'm joking about like that. I think
that's fun angle. But how much is kind of irrelevant.
Tacky. I agree.
I bet he was so excited, but ultimately this type of bragging was a little weird / annoying and a deal breaker to me. Just wondering what both of your perspectives are and if this is strange to you as well. So red flag or deal breaker. He's betting tens of thousands of dollars on sports betting and posting about it on IG. Thanks so much.
I mean, I'd expect a nice restaurant for my next date.
I mean, well, I think that's also like
want to go for pizza?
No. I want to go to Per Se or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Does that still exist?
It's I don't even know. I just think to me, it's like someone who's trying to like drudge up new business as well.
You think? Like other women?
I guess. Like you want people to, when you put 30,000, that is something to get someone to respond to it. When you say I bet on the Eagles, less response, you get less responses than I bet 30,000. And I don't think it's an attractive way to go, but there might be people out there who are attracted to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if someone's attracted to that, then that person's a match. I would feel the same way as her. I would feel like it was kind of tacky. And again, it's like screaming it too loud. Like if I found this out at like a party, different story. Right. You know, if I found out like...
Well, if you found it out about like
because he told a friend... Like what Mike told me this about one of his friends.
If he told you about one of your friends, fine. But if like Mike was... If you were like, oh, you gamble? Like if you're like a year into dating and he's like, yeah, I like to play. And then like you saw the slip was for 30,000.
I would actually be a little concerned.
Right.
I think.
So you'd be like, well, what's going on?
Well, because also someone who's gambling that much money, I would think might have a gambling problem because usually it's not those people with the gambling problems are usually not betting $20 here and there.
Right. And you would also not be like the people with no gambling problem, not to say that rich people can't have a gambling problem, but like you'd kind of know that this is the dollar amount that they deal in. Like if it's a surprise that they're doing $30,000 gambling, then the problem must be there because if it's not a surprise, you're like, oh, this person flies private. Like to bet $30,000 on a game, I would assume you fly private. Like I would like assume that money.
What if you're like making $75,000 as like an ad sales rep?
I'd be like, well, are you okay?
Then there'd be like an issue that's like half your salary. Right. It would be like that would be like a problem.
Even now, thinking it out more and more, you're like, they would be a showy person otherwise.
That's the other part of it.
Yeah,
I think is like, even just like talking about it. I think I would think that they lost a lot more because they felt like they needed to talk about it.
Can I give a female version that I was like thinking about?
Let's hear it.
If they posted that they just got a Birkin.
Okay.
But they didn't put how much, but it's easy to find out.
You can easily find it, yeah.
What is that a turn off to me? Is that a turn off
to
you? I don't know. I was like,
I mean, that's a good. I haven't looked at it through a men's lens. To me, I don't really like. I think that's flat. I mean, I'm not really into like the flashy stuff. Some people like that, I guess.
I guess I'm trying to wonder if it was the difference to me. Again, the difference between I bet on the Eagles and I bet $30,000 on the Eagles in the Birkin sense is her dressed up to go out and has a picture where a Birkin happens to be there.
Right.
Versus, oh my God, I got my first Birkin. Check it out, people. Is a little different. I don't know if it wouldn't taste right to me.
Like by talking, like blasting.
My first Birkin is kind of like tacky.
I agree.
Versus,
I think anything that you're showing that's like, look how expensive this thing that like, or like kind of it's flaunting. That's my issue with Pookie.
Right.
Isn't that
Pookie is a flaunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just like even the mention of the, I don't know, some people get excited about that, but I'm like.
Some people don't mind it. Some people like kind of like there's like a culture around it, I think, of like flashiness. And some people are into it. I find it to be kind of tacky. I don't really like it.
Right.
Like the bags and the others. I find it like also like the more you talk about it, like with the gambling, I'm like the more issues you might have behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, this is tough.
But I do know that people when it comes to gambling and men, I only ever hear about anything.
Right. It's
always
always
how much they've won.
It's always the wins. You don't know how much, especially when you're in a casino. That's like the most annoying. Someone's like, I'm up $500. It's like, you ain't up shit until you leave.
Yeah.
You're up once you're on the flight
cash out. Yes.
That's the only time you can talk about what happened at the casino is when you are leaving the place where the casino is. The trip is over.
Yes.
So.
And this isn't to say that it's not good to have money. That's nice. It's more how you show it to the world.
No, it's everything is nuance and context and how you
totally. But I would say, would it be the Birkin thing, red flag or deal breaker? I can say, or a woman, but she posts that she bet $30,000 and won $250,000.
It's a deal breaker. I think it's tacky.
You're out. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not for me.
Icky. I agree. Okay. Hi, J&J, new listener here. Thank you for all you do. I've recently started dating again, and I hope you can help me out. First, a little bit about me. I got married to my college sweetheart at 21, got divorced at 30, and just recently started dating again at 38.
Okay.
I took some time after my divorce to focus on rebuilding myself. I went to grad school, bought a house, and began a new career. Life is sweet right now, but I didn't feel a need to date until recently.
You're in now.
Without knowing anything about the dating world, it had been nearly 20 years since the last time I dated. I realized I recently joined the world of dating apps. I started by wanting something serious, but quickly realized I'm not ready for that. Right now, as I step back into it, I just want to have fun. I've had a few single dates with one-night stands, and those have been great. Up until 6 months ago, I'd only had sex with my ex-husband. Crazy, I know.
I get it.
That is interesting.
Good for you.
Yeah. I've been seeing one guy. Imagine having because it's funny
one
because
dick the rest of her life.
No, I just think it's interesting because I do feel like I don't know if men feel this way too.
Yeah.
But I feel like losing more interesting than losing your virginity is the second person you have sex with because you have something to compare it to.
They're all faceless and nameless to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I never thought of it that way. I guess.
I don't know. To me, I'm like, okay, like that's all you know, and then like this, because like this woman is like is a virgin basically.
Right.
To me, she's like because I think the second person is like almost more important than the first. Like now you're like, wow, she's been having one person for 20 years. Now she gets to see what her sample size is about to double.
No. From a reader standpoint, it's interesting. I never thought of it for my life, you know, but I do. This is a different virginity.
I think so. Yeah.
This is. I mean, and that's why I understand like why it took her so long to like date again. Like
totally.
She took 8 years to like. It's intimidating. Like everyone's talking about these dating apps, and everyone, you know, to the people in relationships and non-daters, everyone like if you're out on the sidelines of dating, you're like, oh, everyone's fucking, and it's like it's not that.
Right.
You know, it's not that at all. It's more
Are
like...
you not fucking all the time?
No.
Okay.
I'm...
You heard it here first.
Does masturbation count?
Yeah.
It's just, it's not that. I do, yeah. I mean, like, I guess for her, this would be scary, but like...
Yeah, she's getting back out
brave
there. That's
new
crazy.
world.
I've been seeing one guy casually for about 2 months. He works out of town as an engineer on an oil rig, so he works 6 days on and 6 days off. That sounds like a great, like, built-in excuse, though, too, doesn't it?
A great way to
Gotta
get
go
away.
back to the rig. 6 days.
Don't miss me, babe.
Yeah. He usually spends the night. We have amazing sex, talk a lot, and say goodbye the next day. We don't go on dates. We don't really communicate in between meetups. Recently, we've started cooking together, and the lines are a bit more blurry now. It's true. Once you bring pots and pans into the mix, feelings start to occur.
Just like the sauce you're making. Things are blending.
We've agreed to exclusively sleep with each other, although he knows I'm still going on dates. He, however, has mentioned he's found what he's looking for and isn't currently dating anyone else. Last week, he spent the night and woke up in a panic. He told me he had a dream about me and said that in his dream, I represented stability and sincerity. He said he doesn't have that in his life currently. He mentioned,
Oh my God. I had this horrible dream. You were texting me consistently and telling me your feelings and being an amazing partner. Oh my God. How could you?
Sounds lovely. He has mentioned he's a lot of love to give, but holds back. Aw.
He's got a lot of love to give.
Each of us has been through painful separations. Me divorced. He ended a 7-year relationship after being cheated on just 10 months ago.
Oh my God.
I didn't pay any mind to this fact up until recently, as it was strictly casual. I didn't give a shit about that. Yeah. Not too long ago, he asked me who I go to when I'm having a hard time. I said I rely on my parents and best friends. When I asked him the same question, he said he talks to his dog. During that conversation, he told me about some of his childhood trauma and left early to be alone with his thoughts. This is getting sad. He's obviously hurting. I'm not helping him through it because it doesn't feel like my place. But I did mention that I hope he found someone to talk to. And of course, I'm happy to keep the conversation going once we're together again. Is this a red flag or a deal breaker?
Dealing with some childhood trauma.
Talking to yourself.
Hope you find someone to talk to.
The dog.
Yeah, I talked to Rufus.
Red flag because he has a ton.
Sometimes I think he's just doing it to get a treat, but...
Red flag because he has a ton of baggage he usually avoids, but is trying to work through it. Deal breaker because he hasn't healed. Would love to hear your thoughts. Sincerely, falling for my situationship.
There's no good answer.
She's falling for my situationship. I'm not getting that vibe at all that she's falling for this guy.
I kind of feel like well, can I just mention that there's something like a larger thing going on here where it's like, I've noticed this like with dating is like, especially this podcast, the women write in this box or this box. You know, I'm being casual, so that's how I look at it. And then they're like shocked that the lines are blurred. And I think this is what a lot of women get upset with is like men, like this guy wanting to open up to you. It doesn't mean that he like wants to be in like like get married.
You don't think that dream thing makes him seem like he's looking for something serious with her?
It does, but I think a lot of women have been burned by that where like a guy
they don't trust it.
Right, a guy's like doesn't say whether he's in his hoe era.
Right.
He's just like is, and it's like, and then it like meshes into this like he's acting like we're married. He's acting like my boyfriend, and then when he wants to end it, they're like, "What the fuck? I was just I was in my hoe box."
Right. You made me
and you made me
switch boxes.
Switch boxes, and I think this tells you about a lot of men and a lot of women too. Like the way you're looking at things, like it's not that easy to do. Like and this guy does want to open up to her, and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, like." You're in the wrong box. And it's like, she's like, in red flag deal breaker. He hasn't dealt with it. It's like, yeah, he's trying to deal with it with you. Yeah. He's trying to get closer.
I don't think she's not seeing the signs that he's giving her. He's like, keeps giving her indirect bids that he would like this to be something more serious.
Mm-hmm. But also she doesn't have to be his therapist. Like these issues could feel like they're more than a dog can handle. Like, I do agree with her. Like, this isn't my pay grade. Like, he's got some real issues that he's trying to work through, and I'm not his wife. Is that my wife? I'm not his wife. I'm not signing up for that. I'm trying to get to know him, but, like, this is already moving really quickly towards me, like, being his caretaker. Like, I do understand why she's, like, holding back, because she doesn't want to get burned. She doesn't want to fall too hard. She also doesn't think that this is her responsibility. I agree with that. But like, I do think saying to him, like, I think he's like screaming at you to like get closer.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I think she needs to, I think this is her cue to figure out, what do I really want here? This person is maybe more invested in this than me. And then, you know, like we would tell a man in this scenario, like, if you're not looking for that with this person, you should end it because this person sees this going somewhere with you. And I think she's only going to feel uncomfortable if she keeps being in this. But if she's like, oh, this has potential and I like actually do care about this person, and then she needs to stop telling him to find someone else to talk to. She needs to talk to him.
Right.
If she wants a more intimate, deep relationship. Because he keeps basically trying to hint that that's what he's looking for with her. And she's kind of almost like playing dumb.
A little bit. Right? She's like, we have amazing sex. I thought it was just that. And like, that sometimes runs its course for, you can't decide how the other person feels.
Right.
And they're screaming at you what page they're on. They're like, I'm on this page.
Yeah.
And can you meet me
I
here?
would like to talk to you instead of my dog about my issues from my past. Are you interested? That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
He said, who do you talk to? This is who I don't really have anyone to talk to. It seems like he's saying, I would like to talk to you. And you're like, you should find someone to talk to.
And you should say, I mean, some of it's therapy and seeing a professional that has like the, you know, the.
Sure. To work. She doesn't have to work through it with him on like a large level, but I think she needs to, like, if she wants to be with him, that's how you do get to a more intimate place.
Or you have to end it.
Yeah.
Because he's announced. He's done the reveal.
Right.
I've revealed I want to talk to you about things. And
yes. Would like you to join me in therapy with my dog.
Let's do another one.
Let's do it.
Last one. Benefit subscriber, longtime fan of the pod. Been seeing a guy for about 6 months, and recently he expressed his attraction to me by saying, I'm built like his favorite BBW. Big, beautiful woman porn star. To be fair, he'd warned me beforehand that his comment could be seen as offensive, but he hoped I would take it as a compliment. I was caught off guard, so I just laughed it off. While I found his comment humorous, I don't know whether to be flattered or not. I'll leave it up to judges J and J. So red flag or deal breaker, he compares you to his favorite porn star. Thanks for all the laughs and advice. A big, beautiful bitch.
I don't love that he has a favorite porn star that he's telling me about.
But I have a rookie card. Yeah.
Like, you can have a favorite porn star privately. I don't know that, like, I would find that to be a sign of someone looking to have a meaningful relationship with me, if that's who they're comparing me to.
Right. The porn star thing is actually less important to me as like the BBW angle of it.
Okay.
Because he's letting her know that like you're my type as like a compliment. But he's a little bit fetishizing.
Because it's a porn star. What if it was an actress?
I think that's even scary from that. Listen, I can understand from her side of things. It's like, are you just trying to get with me, or do you want to be with me? Like, I think like.
Right. It's been 6 months.
6 months. But like, listen, I would love to be someone's fetish, but I would understand that gets tiring. There's a thin line between my type and my fetish.
Right. I don't mind being someone's type.
But do you mind being someone's fetish?
Yeah, probably, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part. Because I'm someone sitting here.
Well, there's probably a thin
with
line.
My For You page, you know, or what my
would you call that a type page, or a fetish?
I would call it a type.
Right.
I like a curvy woman, like BBW. Like, I know what that is.
I'm just imagining you being like, you look like my favorite Instagram like ass woman. Like, look, your ass looks just like hers.
Same ass. Yeah. Look at the cheeks. Same thing. Yeah,
are there women that you date where you're like, you do look like a lot of the women that I see on?
Then someone would be like, yeah. Do I Google? Is my porn like, you know, curvy Jewish woman? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. This is like an uncomfortable conversation. But he's trying to make light of it, almost like I can see why it's not a compliment. Like, the porn star thing makes this like hilarious.
Right.
It's the like, have you fetishized this person and you don't take them seriously as maybe your potential partner?
I guess.
I think that would be the fear
for you
of any of mine. I guess like.
Yeah,
I don't know. I saw like you see like.
I guess because I think that's more because she's a porn star though. Like, for some reason, to me, it's like he's watching
when he puts it in relation to the porn star. Yeah. Like, that's how you see.
Right.
This.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
Like you
only sexualize me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like you remind me of my favorite actress from my favorite rom-com. which like I think feels like a little bit more innocent or feels a
Right.
little bit less objectify-y or sexual.
Right, but I would also understand there's another side of this where it's like, you know, if you're compared to a BBW porn star, you're also like, well, have you dated in the past?
Yeah.
People, you know, am I your, because that would signify type. Is that like in the past you have similar, you know, exes who kind of like
Right.
look similar to me or have the same, you know, strike a same pose, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not offended by like being someone's, the fetish part feels like because it's a porn star, it's more likely to be a fetish.
Right.
That's why it's important to me.
He is sexualizing it by mentioning that. He could have just said, "You're so my type," which would be a nice thing to hear.
Yeah. I don't mind I wouldn't mind hearing that, or like, you look like this actress who's like my celebrity crush.
Right. I mean, if someone asks, like, I've been asked on a date, like, who's like, you know, who's your celebrity type? And I've like made mention of like, you know, certain types, and you go,
Kourtney Kardashian, your favorite?
The Kardashians. I like that's a type. Ashley Graham.
Okay.
Like I think she's like very like that's someone I.
Yeah, but if you said that, the person wouldn't be like, you're fetishizing me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's like the difference is like the context. You're right. The
if you
context
said
is
like
very important.
your favorite BBW, I
was watching this woman suck dick on Pornhub the other day and looked just like
I mean, 6
like
months
gross.
in, I'd probably just be a red flag, but I think that like anything earlier than that would be a.
I think there's other questions for her to ask
Yeah.
too. Like, and this also changes.
How
if there's-
much porn do you watch?
Right, and are we exclusive? Are they exclusive?
Are we exclusive? How much porn do you watch? And
seeing a guy for 6 months and who tells you you're like they're so wildly attracted to you is a little different than like we're boyfriend girlfriend.
right.
And he's like, you don't understand. Like, this is like I've won the lottery because you're the dream type for me. Like that's a little different.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We solved dating again.
We did it.
We did it in a short hour and a half.
Look at us.
We're good to go.
We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll back
on
next
Friday.
Boom.
Kate McAuliffe is our senior producer. Our editor is Emily Freed. Candace Maniga is our senior social producer. Our associate producer is Will Maxwell. Additional production help from Shannon Jimenez Sasson. Be sure to follow us at u.up.podcast and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.